This video uses chapters. Skip around for what you're looking for, as we will be taking some time to get to the mechanics. A slight announcement, we are not changing the channel. Next video will be Garry's Mod. Minecarts are rather underrated. The most that the majority of players see of them are in overly complicated redstone machines or maybe lag machines. However, they can be quite useful. Powered rails can move players at great speeds, and furnace minecart trains can transport a great amount of items and mobs. The subject of the video are furnace minecarts, often said to be useless and not given much consideration, even in the very videos that try to praise them. Arguably, the greatest advantage of using furnace trains is their price in relation to their capability to move things. A furnace train with but a single furnace minecart can move 3,456 items, or 2 mobs. But when you consider double engine trains, the limit is only how much chunks you can load. To power a furnace minecart, all you need is coal, either mineral or charcoal, both being rather cheap to get. With just one of those, your engine moves 720 blocks uninterrupted and can store 9 coal. Technically, you can store a slightly higher amount, but thinking economically, putting in only 9 will give you the most mileage per coal. In this video, you will learn that you can make turns and move the trains upwards and downwards with a very simple and cheap mechanism. The only true disadvantage to these contraptions is the fact that you have to manually operate them, but I believe it is worth the ability to turn your locomotives. Not every single thing in Minecraft has to be automatic.
Hello. So, to first understand the problem, a furnace minecart cannot pull a cart through a turn because it clips into each other. Look. Likewise, it doesn't work even if we use a double engine train. In fact, it derails it. However, a furnace minecart can still push through turns because they're not connected. So, the solution to the problem, rather than trying to make this whole train turn, we let the train go, wait until it stops at a certain point near the turn so that we can disassemble it. We place the front engine here, we make the connection, and now the train is right back together and it can continue on its way. Placing a cobblestone block to stop the train is not a very good solution, so I have designed a little system using redstone. I call this thing a lock, and this is a presentation of it operating. The train will continue and it will be stopped by the lock. Then we do the normal process and we release the lock. Now the train is reassembled, you can continue the trip. That lock over there, which I've shown you, is a particular model. It's called a double lock. This is how it works. It pushes out the rails on both sides, on both lanes. It only really functions on one track lanes. This is a one track lane with 2 lanes. This is what I recommend you using. It's a single lock system. It's a lot simpler than that one and a lot cheaper. Of course, a lock, which is a single lock, is this one. It's not both. You don't have to have them side by side like this. This is an unrailer lock. That over there is an end station, and this is also an end station. But if we had something between here, not at the turn, but right there, we could use a way station, which is a station which is in the middle of a railway. This is particularly good for busy stations, for busy railways, since not only does it work by locking the train, it can also unrail it so that people can pass through just fine. This is a slimeless lock. It does not use any slime. It is slightly slower than the methods which do, but it's still faster than just doing the cobblestone thing. And this is the more effective method of using the redstone thing. As you can see, these locks can get quite simple and very cheap. However, this method takes slightly longer to operate than that, and it certainly takes longer than just these simpler, faster locks. You can also use locks to make the train go up and down. This is the train going downwards. This is the train going upwards. And it works just fine. There are two kinds of furnace trains. I do not classify this as a train because it is not connected. This is what most people know that you can make with furnace minecarts. This is a pull train. It pulls, and it doesn't have much capacity. Of course, we have the better option, the double engine train. The double engine train has a furnace minecart at the front and at the back, and it can move, as you can see, a lot more. Well, not a lot more in this example, but it certainly can move more than the other train. This is an example of a train with a proper size. It has 10 minecart chests, which means you can move 10 chests worth of items in it, and it moves just fine. And this is a demonstration of how big the actual turn should be, how much far away the locks should be from the turn, so that it can host this kind of train. Look at its operation. Another recommendation, I believe you should have one of these when you're breaking it, because then it is faster. Oh, I put the furnace minecart a little bit too close, but it moves just fine, as you can see. And this is the reason why you have to place the locks far away. And you should place this kind of thing so that people know where to place the furnace minecart at the front for when the train is moving. I have decided to make different classifications for different parts of a railway. These are the stations. As I have mentioned before, that is an end station, and if there was something in the middle here, it would be a way station. To be more clear, this is what an end station looks like. It doesn't have to be this way, but the basic idea is that it just stops like that. There is no other way which I can go. I have to use the other lane to go the other way. When I get there, the same again. This is a way station. I have mentioned about it before. This is more of an example of how it will look like. It has unrail lock systems on both sides. This is also a way station. However, it's a demonstration of how you can use other kinds of locks. This is the double lock. Those are the single locks. This is a turn station using simple locks. This is not, do not be confused, this is not just a lock for a turn. You can also use those systems for turning to make a station as well. You don't have to make anything more complicated, you can just recycle it per se. This is a demonstration on tracks. This is a lane. This is a single lane. It makes many turns, but it is still a single lane and single track railway. This, on the other hand, it has only one track per lane, but it has two lanes. One lane goes here from this direction and one lane from this direction. However, you can add more tracks. This is a single track, one lane little system. However, we can increase its size. By increasing its size, we're increasing the capacity and the size of the train. Well, we can still use smaller trains, but we now have the capability to use very big trains like this one. You may say that locks won't work with this kind of track system. With wider tracks, you can just push off the rails out, and you would be right. However, that is why we use the simpler locks for this kind of track system. We break it, we place it, the train goes, then we do the same with another part. I made it wrong. We do the same with another part, then we do the same with the remaining segments, and it continues. Of course, you can even cheapen out a little bit by only placing two tracks over here, because you only will be moving two segments of the train apart. A little tip before the video ends: if you're going to be using this kind of train, I make a recommendation for you. Using two engines is still better whilst you are pulling it, because when you do this, the game kinda bugs out and it goes on indefinitely. With just one pull, this is going to move a lot more than just 720 blocks. Of course, it still can turn, but nevertheless, it's good to know if you're going to have a more straight railway. There are a lot of videos on YouTube which say that Minecraft has some kind of transportation problem, and whilst I do agree, they should build upon what they have set, I don't think any of those videos ever mention this kind of transportation system, nor any particularly useful method of using furnace trains. I've shown you there the pull trains. The pull trains is what most people know you can do with the furnace minecart train. They think that's the only way to make a furnace minecart train. They don't even think about making the double engine train, because it goes all over their head. They don't think about it. They're always making their nether ice highways to move their little boats at the speed of light, and killing the ender dragon a billion times so that they can have many portals to explore the end with. However, I believe that this kind of transportation still has a place in Minecraft. For ideological reasons, I don't use the other two mentioned methods of transportation, and I find this to be very useful because I can move a lot of items with it. I like using lava as fuel, and to acquire a lot of lava, I use a lot of iron buckets, obviously. However, each lava cannot stack each other. A single chest only moves 27 lava buckets. So those kind of trains are very useful to me, because I can then place many carts and move a lot of lava, sorry. Another use for the furnace trains is to move sand. I require a lot of sand because I like making TNT. I make TNT so that I can mine with it. Mine iron deposits. I mine the iron deposits, then smelt the iron. And I smelt the iron to make buckets. And then I use the buckets to acquire the lava. And I use the lava to smelt more iron. It is kind of like a circular system per se. And the fundamental resource of it is, as strange as it may sound, sand, because it is what I use to acquire everything else. Now, sand is a very abundant resource in deserts and beaches. However, if you have a very big desert, which I often have, and you want to transport a lot of the sand from there, which I often want to, then using a little railway is useful, because it doubles for many different purposes. Say there is my house, it's my town, and I produce a lot of wood, and I want to use the wood to make houses in the desert, because there isn't a lot of wood in the desert. Now this system goes from here to here in the terms of resources. I'm using it both ways, to acquire the sand from here, to transport the wood from there to here.